Okay, this is one of the most one-sided days in the entire history of aerial combat, and the American pilots who were actually there called it exactly what it looked like. June 19, 1944. The Philippine Sea. Japan needs a decisive naval victory here or its grip on the Pacific is basically finished. American troops have already landed on Saipan days earlier, and if that island falls, the Japanese home islands come within range of American bombers for the first time in the entire war. So Admiral Jisaburo Ozawa commits almost everything he has left, 9 carriers, hundreds of aircraft, and launches wave after wave in a single massive strike meant to wipe out the American fleet in one blow. On paper it should have worked. In practice, it turned into one of the worst tactical miscalculations of the entire war. Here's where it started going wrong for Japan. Days before this battle even began, American carrier planes had already hit Japanese airfields on Guam and nearby islands, chewing through inexperienced pilots and grounding a huge chunk of the land-based air support Ozawa was counting on. And somehow that information never fully reached him. He walked into this battle believing he had far more support in the air than he actually did. Then there's the plane meeting his pilots in the sky, the brand new American F-6F Hellcat. Faster, tougher, better armed than the aging Japanese Zero, and flown by pilots with vastly more flight hours than the hastily trained replacement crews Japan was sending up by 1944. Add radar into the mix, and American ships were tracking incoming Japanese strikes from over 100 miles out, which meant Hellcats were already climbing to altitude and waiting in position before a single Japanese plane got anywhere close to the fleet. And down at the ships themselves, American anti-aircraft guns were firing shells with a brand new proximity fuse, meaning a shell didn't need a direct hit anymore, just getting near a plane was enough to detonate it and bring it down. One American pilot, Alex Vreeshuh, shot down 6 Japanese aircraft in a single mission that day, and landed back on his carrier holding up 6 fingers for the camera. That photo alone tells you everything about how lopsided this fight had become. By the time the sun went down, Japan had lost close to 400 aircraft in a single day. American losses were around 24 planes. It stopped looking like a battle in any traditional sense and started looking like something else entirely. The nickname stuck almost immediately. Pilots were calling it the Great Marianas Turkey Shoot before they'd even finished landing back on their carriers that evening. The damage didn't stop with the planes either. American submarines sank 2 Japanese fleet carriers during the fighting, and a third went down the following day when Task Force 58 launched a risky late-afternoon strike at the very edge of their fuel range, so risky that Admiral Mitchell famously ordered every ship in the fleet to light up their deck lights and searchlights that night, breaking blackout protocol completely, just so his pilots flying back exhausted and low on fuel in total darkness could actually find their way home. And here's the part that really matters long-term. Japan had spent years building and training one of the most feared carrier air arms in the world. In a single afternoon, most of it was simply gone: planes, pilots, and the years of experience that couldn't just be replaced with new aircraft off an assembly line. When the next major carrier battle came just months later at Leyte Gulf, Japan barely had enough trained aircrew left standing to put up a real fight at all. And with Saipan secured shortly after this battle, American B-29 bombers finally had a base within direct striking range of the Japanese home islands for the first time in the entire war. So this wasn't just a lopsided afternoon of dogfighting. It was the day Japan's ability to fight a real carrier war quietly stopped existing, and neither side fully realized it yet. If stories like this, the ones where a single day quietly decided the rest of a war, are your kind of thing, stick around because this channel is full of exactly these.